Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. As always, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to give us some attention. Our guest today, I'm sure I need no introduction, but of course, I'll go ahead and give him one. Today we have Lucas. If you most of you know Lucas from previous podcasts, he is the wolf, the man behind Prometheus Sports in Poland. Today we're also joined by Robick, the face for radio, and joining us, Chris from Eurosupps, all the way in Romania. So today we are going global, both domestically and internationally. Guys, it's great to see everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Hey,
So-
hey,
Thank you very much for having us.
Fun to be here.
Chris, we're going to start off with you, if it's okay. So you're new to the podcast. Many people know you for your excellent reviews and writings on your Instagram. What got you into supplements?
Well, I'm not new to the podcast. I'm new to being on camera altogether. I don't do YouTube. I don't do Instagram Reels. So this is the first time people are seeing me, seeing my face, and hearing my voice. So what got me into the supplement space? Basically, me trying to protect my wallet. Because they are, especially in Europe, you would find many shitty brands, lots of marketing, lots of false advertisements, and I'm just a dude trying to save some cash.
So what was the first supplement you ever used?
The first supplement I ever used, I think it was a shitty protein powder, soy-based protein powder, which tasted like actual vomit. And the first actual good supplement I ever used was creatine, and
Okay.
it was from Universal Nutrition. It was called back then Storm. It was a really
Okay.
good supplement.
Now, as many people know Lucas is a glorified Stim junkie. Are you a Stim junkie, Chris, or are
No.
you like lower level?
Stop.
No. I'm not a junkie by any means. Uh, my go-to caffeine content is around 350, 400 milligrams max. That's because I also like my coffee. I drink a lot
Okay.
of coffee, a lot of espresso. And when it comes to pre-workouts, I usually go non-stim. And on the weekends, I'll take something mild, like 300, 400 milligrams of caffeine. So no, I'm not a high stim guy.
Am I wrong, Lucas?
This
Have you changed your colors? Are you now low Stim?
That's per hour or that's per day? Because I'm just confused.
How much are you up to now daily?
Right
Me?
now,
No,
Oh,
for
Lucas.
Lucas.
Shut
right
up.
now, I'm like 1 gram.
Damn. Damn.
That's normal. This normal to me. I'm a fast metabolizer when it comes down to stims, so I'm super efficient when it comes down to caffeine. 300 milligrams is just like nothing. After 2 hours, I can smash another 300. So that's not a problem to me.
But are you all energy drinks, or are you all pre-workouts, or what are you fueling on?
It depends how I feel. Sometimes it's like half a scoop of assassin. Sometimes it's like, maybe full scoop of hooligan. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, I want some like a mushroom coffee or something. I'm very, flexible when it comes down to that.
Okay.
I'm not like very strict when it comes down to like, stuff. But I always like to try new things, like maybe energy drinks, of kind of things. But energy drinks are like just like maybe alternative, I would say.
Okay. And Robert, you just posted on the Apollon site one of the athletes dry scooping 2 things of Hooligan, which kind of took me back.
Well, we had actually somebody back in the day when we had DMAA in Assassin. We had, I think, 600 milligram of caffeine and 80 milligram of DMAA, and that was real DMAA. And some guy in Russia, we were visiting Russia at the time, and he was a manager at a supplement store, and he ended up in a hospital. And, obviously, I was very worried because, that was the first time that I've seen anything like that. I'm thinking like, okay, 600 milligram of caffeine is strong. And then, of course, 80 milligram of DMA is also very strong. But, young guy, he was in the hospital. I mean, nothing bad. He just checked himself to check. He didn't feel too good. But then I found out that he took 3 scoops
Jesus.
So that was 240 milligram of DMAA and 1800 milligram of caffeine. So, so that was a little extreme. So I told him, "You're a dumb motherfucker. Fuck you." And I was like, "Why would you take 3 scoops?" He goes to me, "Well, we have C4. I always take 3 scoops." I'm like, You're a manager at the fucking supplement store and you don't read labels?" He goes, "I typically don't pay attention to that." Like, okay. But we were filming with Branch Warren a commercial for Hooligan, and he was taking 2 scoops of Hooligan like regularly. So I remember when we were, somebody asked us like, "Do you think you should post this?" I was like, "Well, I'm always, for transparency and honesty. I'm obviously not supporting that, but I was like, okay, that's Branch Warren." So we posted, and I was like, "Don't do what Branch does."
How would you even come down off of 1,800 milligrams of caffeine in the hospital? They just tell you to go run a couple of laps around the building. I don't think. I
Well,
mean, I don't know if you
his blood pressure, I think, shot up a little bit, and
a
he
little
felt
bit.
obviously a little off. I mean, 1800 milligram of caffeine in one shot. Well, like Lucas says that he can take daily 1,000. I see no problem with that. And Lucas knows what he's doing, but 1,000 spread throughout the day, I don't
Mhm.
see any issues if you can tolerate it. But if you're gonna take one shot of 1,800 milligram of caffeine and 240 milligram of DMA, I mean, chances of you not ending up in a hospital are kind of
Yeah,
slim.
yeah, true.
Chris, so what is your daily intake on a high note for caffeine? Your daily intake.
Mm, I don't think I go higher than 500. Yeah,
Okay, so
including all the coffees I usually drink. 500, in my opinion, is a lot. Lucas can handle 1,000. 500 for me is plenty.
okay,
Yeah, I never try to flex when it comes down to stims. You need to be aware of what you are putting to your body. So I need to make sure everyone understands this. This is just
Yeah,
me.
of
When
course.
I'm saying I take 1 gram is because I can tolerate it. But I would never say to someone, take 1 gram and just be done with it, because this is just like a fucking stupid. You need to be aware of the consequences, and you also need to be aware of everything that goes to your body and how you can tolerate not only supplements, drugs, but also other stuff. And you also need to take into consideration that you know taking caffeine alone is just one thing, but when you are stacking it with other stuff such as like DMAA and other stuff, that's just like a whole nother level. So yeah, keep that in mind, children.
And you know what? I think that Lucas actually nailed it. He's right. The toxic levels, and I mean, that happens in thousands. That you have to reach like a serious fucked up level and probably take it all at once for any serious effects. But in terms of like Chris takes 500 throughout the day, and he said that he spreads it out, or Lucas is taking roughly 1,000 a day. I'm pretty sure he doesn't count. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but everybody should know their body and what you can handle. That's the reason why I always said, when it comes to caffeine content of a pre-workout, I've seen as low as 100 milligram, and I've seen as high as 6 or even 700 milligram. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you know what you can tolerate. And again, what he said about like stacking it with DMA and DMHA and different compounds, to each his own. I mean, some people are stim junkies, can handle very very high level. I know some people that can take an energy drink or a strong coffee and go to bed and sleep. So I think it's a very individual basis. I also don't believe in vasoconstriction. I remember talking to Robert Shinetsky. That whole concept, I think it's so outdated. Just like creatine, will kill your kidneys. I think it's just fucking ridiculous. But especially if you're taking a pre-workout that is balanced with citrulline or nitrates or vasodrive or something like that. I mean, it's a very well balanced pre-workout. And in terms of caffeine, again, um, I've seen some people post 400 milligram is perfect. Perfect for who? Maybe perfect for you, but I know people who can barely handle 200 because for them it's too much. They don't drink coffee, so their receptors are so fresh that 200 is more than enough to give them enough boost. And I've seen people that 600 they can handle no problem. I'm with Chris on this. My perfect pre-workout for me personally. I always emphasize the word for me personally because I don't judge nobody. Everybody has a choice. My personal 300, 400 is ideal for me. That's like a perfect, hits the spot perfectly well. But I'm not going to tell you that 200 is bad or 600 is too much. That's none of my business. You should know your body. You should know your health. You should know your history.
Yep.
And when I sell you a pre-workout that says 200 or 400 or 600 milligram of caffeine, once the pre-workout is with you, I don't know if you're an idiot who's going to take 2 3 scoops. I cannot control you. You should know that. You should know what's best for you. So I think all this conversation when it comes what is the ideal amount of caffeine, there is no ideal amount. Ideal amount is whatever you think is ideal for you, whatever your needs are. And when it comes to health, regular blood work and stuff like that, that is on you. You should worry about you. Don't worry about other people.
Yep. So, Chris, I don't know if there's a friend that's watching Relu. Chris, you need to train your heart as
Hey, Relu.
well. Learn from Lucas.
Huh?
Meaning that he needs to take the caffeine
Yeah, I
up
got it.
higher, so he
Yeah,
can
he's
work
a
his
pro.
heart like Lucas is working his heart with high amounts of
Yeah,
caffeine.
yeah. He's doing some cardio without doing cardio.
Yeah.
So, Chris, someone else had asked, and I'm trying to find. Do you ever get pushback when you leave a negative review, or you write a negative review? Do the companies ever reach out to you and get mad?
No, no, absolutely no one. I'm too small to, I don't know, make some companies mad. I mean, only a couple of people read me. I have a couple of thousand followers. Uh, I don't know, maybe if someone like GGH would leave a negative review, he would have companies come up to him and try to speak with him. But no, not my case. I'm too
Hey,
small.
Chris, would you care if the company would reach out to you and say, "Hey,
Yeah,
you're writing a bad thing about us. How come?" Would you be like, well,
yeah, you have a
would
shitty product.
yeah,
I paid for that product. You didn't give me for free. I'm not under any
yeah,
obligation to, I don't know, leave a positive feedback or a
yeah,
review. No, it's a shitty product. I'm not gonna call it like it is.
yeah,
But you
that's
know
what I'm
what?
trying.
I think that the reason I think also why it's very rare that the company would reach out because the thing is, if somebody, I mean, Chris is obviously very knowledgeable. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, his breakdown of ingredients, I talk to him about ingredients behind the scenes a lot, even about formulations. The guy knows his stuff. Definitely doing research, so he's knowledgeable. So when you see his breakdown, and like I said, I told him Marina loves, I mean, he's her favorite reviewer. Marina reads his stuff and she loves it. The way he breaks it, and Marina doesn't like anyone's reviews. She just doesn't pay attention to it. But when she read his, and I told her, I said, English is not his first language. She goes to me, she was blown away. She was blown away of how articulate he is and how he breaks down. So you see, the thing is, I'll send Chris a product to review, and I'm not going to be worried about the review. You know why? Because my products are good. I'm not cheating. I'm putting full doses. I'm putting something that works. So why should I be scared? The truth is the person who is cheating or the person who is underdosing on putting shitty ingredients, he knows he's doing it. Those people know exactly what they're doing. So by product ending up with Chris or somebody like him, I mean you pretty much exposed. There is nothing can be done. Somebody who knows products, like if I'm going to put 600 milligram of I use it a lot as an example because it's very tricky. Alpha GPC most of the time comes at 50%. There are some 90, there are some 70, but most of the time it's 50%. So we know that 600 milligram at 50% is perfect. It's actually a clinical dose. So I would never put less than 600 milligram ever. It just wouldn't happen. 600 milligram, and it says 50%. So why should I be worried? But if I'm going to put 300 milligram, which yields 150 milligram, and it ends up with Chris, if he's going to shit on my product, I mean, he's not shitting on my product. He's just telling the truth. And I knew exactly what I was doing because I was saving a couple of cents or a couple of bucks. So me reaching out to him, it's a lose-lose situation. I'm gonna make myself look like a fool. So the best way is to shut the fuck up and not do anything.
Rob, at the end of the day, when you are formulating a product, you can have, for example, a minimal dosage, let's say, of alpha GPC, but other ingredients can be leveled up. So at the end of the day, you got synergy effect of all the ingredients, right?
Yeah, you
But when
do,
you
but
can,
it's very
what
dependable.
pisses me off the most is that it's when you see a brand and they have like a fucking list of kitchen sink ingredients, and there is like a sprinkle dosages of every fucking nootropic there is on the planet Earth, and they're like advertising it's the best shit out there, but it's just like how can I say, like a rookie cook that is trying to be a fucking chef.
Yeah.
Yes, that happens for two reasons. Reason number one, complete lack of knowledge, and it's somebody who just decided, you know what, today I'm going to make a product. Okay, so he's seen somewhere, micro dosing or something like that, and he goes to a manufacturer and gets a quote, and a pre-workout is going to cost $5. That's it. That's all it's going to cost. And then he goes and he formulates that and he thinks, okay, I'm going to sell it for $50 and I'm going to make money. The problem is you're putting yourself in a position that people that do know what you're doing, they will expose you. That's the main problem. And you should be
Oh,
Yep. We lost them. But see, the other thing too, like Lucas, to almost say what you're saying is it pisses me off. The newest thing now is all these brands are saying quality. We're using quality ingredients. Yes, they might be using quality ingredients, but it's shitty dosages.
Yeah, man, you can see, for example, they're using all the patents out there, and they always,
Yeah.
like, for example, even they advertise it as we use this patent, that patent, like whole list of great ingredients, but at the same time, the dosages are just so small, and you can feel anything, it's just like, yeah, you are using a quality ingredients, but at the same time, the amounts are so small. There was a perfect example. Most recently, I was searching on Stacked. There was a new supplement, like a nootropic that students made by students, something like
yeah.
that. And I saw the profile, the formula, and there was like huge amount of all the
Can you hear
ingredients,
me
and it
now?
was like, yeah, bro,
Yep.
it didn't had like make any sense. So that's what I'm trying to say. The best formula is the formula that is not overcomplicated. And if you want to have like if you want to cut costs, let's say you're not like a big brand that has a lot of budget to spend on, you can put money into like three, four, maybe five ingredients top, but the dosages will be on that great level, and you can provide your customers a first, let's say, a first version of your product, and move towards another versions with
Yep.
time. So when you are growing and you are expanding your brand, you're also offering your customers more versions, newer versions, upgrades of the formulas, and that's what attracts people to your brand. And that's how Apollon grew.
Yeah, because the thing is, you nailed it.
Apollon grew just because it had one formula, but it was a fucking hitter.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, you're right. People are like, sometimes they will see like some products like maybe Assassin or Hooligan. I have more than three, four ingredients. I have maybe 10, so to speak. But the 10, two or three of them are synergy for focus. Two or three of them are synergy for maybe pump, and two or three of them maybe for energy. And they see like, wow, a lot of ingredients. Let me do the same. And you shouldn't, because you can actually have a very good product with two, three, four ingredients, but like you said, make sure they properly dosed, make sure that
Yeah.
they actually make sense. And today, I mean, the research is not that complicated. And, I have no issue sometimes picking Robert Shinetsky's brain because the guy knows his stuff. I talked to Chris about formulations. And he actually, we had a very, very cool conversation about one of the products. I trust him. I know he's not going to tell nobody. And we were kind of going back and forth, not arguing, but actually he was helping me to formulate. I'm not shy about it. I'm not shy to admit that I talked to him about it. I'm not going to take all the credit. He actually helped me, and he was putting very, not even constructive criticism, but just pointing out to certain things and it's easy. You can reach out to people within the industry. You can reach out to people that are doing reviews. If they're knowledgeable, they'll be more than happy to help you. But don't make shit up by putting some stupid shit pre-workouts and stupid ingredients that don't work. You know, when it comes to pump, I'm not even going to go over the pump ingredients, but literally, again, what we discussed yesterday with Chris was there is like maybe three, four, five tops good pump ingredients that actually work. The problem is they're expensive. They're very expensive. They're not cheap products. They're not cheap ingredients. And then you have another 10 that are cheap, hyped up, shit ingredients, and you see them all over the formula. And then we going to, again, to familiar territory, reviewers. Reviewers, especially, like he emphasized that he doesn't get paid. He pays for the products most of the time. But those
Yeah.
reviewers that are getting paid, all of a sudden taking those 10 shitty pump ingredients that have absolutely no research, nothing behind them, and you know those ingredients very well, and they saying, oh, this pre-workout is great, look what they have, and you will see in the comments people supporting them saying, oh, great, and the brand will say, yeah, we're the best on the market. I mean, you just lied to so many people, and if you pay one of the influencers with 1 million followers, he will gladly lie on your behalf,
Yeah.
and now you have shitload of people buying a pre-workout that just doesn't work. It doesn't work, so you're pissing the money away. So simplicity sometimes is the best way. Put one
Of
ingredient, but
course.
make sure it's a good one.
Yeah.
For Chris and Lucas, are there kitchen sink brands in Europe, or is it more of a US thing?
No, definitely a US thing. Definitely.
Agree, Lucas? Obviously, no comment.
You know what? It's hard to say, especially nowadays because you have plenty of brands and they're coming from every part of Europe. I've spent a lot of time, monitoring the markets here in Europe, and it's like now every retailer has its own brand, and it's cheap to produce its own line, especially when it comes down to like single stuff ingredients and so on, But yeah, more or less, I would say yeah, the kitchen sink can be more found on USA products than in Europe. In Europe, they
Okay.
are like not that often you can see them. Yeah.
Okay. So someone had asked for Lucas and Chris outside of a pollen. What brands do you guys like? What brands do you like the most, Chris, aside from a pollen?
I don't know. I use a Spanish brand,
Okay.
HSN, for their
Okay.
really quality and cheap, rather cheap protein, and some GDA, some berberine, some alpha lipoic acid, some bitter melon, stuff like that. Um, and then I don't know. I mostly buy pre-workouts from all sorts of brands. I have from Accent Sledge. I have from Hypermax. I have Apollo, of course. Uh, Extremist Cartel. I really like.
Okay.
But no, uh, when it comes to protein and the basics, I stick with something rather cheap, HSN. The others, I kind of go wild and spend a lot of money on them.
Chris,
Okay.
how is the Romanian market? Like, I mean, Romanian brands.
Romanian brands, yeah, they suck. They suck,
Uh,
man. I think one is a bit of a standout, but they kind of reformulated most of their products and no more branded ingredients, no more, I don't know, they used to use something like things like nitrosygin, good doses of citrulline, high quality protein from reliable manufacturers, and then they just kind of, you know, uh, set the bar down for just a bit. But
I've
no,
noticed
the quality of products is kind of shitty here.
I've noticed that most of Romanian brands are importing stuff from Europe and from USA, and they're like they're more into like brands such as like Red One, like Ghost, those kinds of brands.
Yeah,
I believe Dorian Yates is selling very well in Romania,
yeah,
right?
yeah, he is, yeah.
Sounds like a
Yeah,
new market for you, Robick.
that's one of the
Okay, so somebody had asked too, and I'm going to bring it up. I know we had a couple of questions here. Thoughts on the species nutrition Stimulize, I guess. Has anybody seen it? Or because I can bring it up, but I don't know if you're able to see it on your phones here.
I actually saw it yesterday because they were hyping the shit out of this product. But looking at the label, considering that this is supposed to be Stim Max, and Dave said obviously it's the best on the market,
This is the
I'm
newest one,
gonna
right?
I'm gonna say
Yes.
nothing because this is just, you know what? I'll let Chris and Lucas go crazy.
Can you see it on your phone, Chris, or I can read off the
Yeah,
ingredients?
yeah.
Okay.
To me personally, it's just average. I wouldn't spend money on it, honestly.
That's it.
Like
That's pretty much what I
like
thought.
citrulline, okay, it's at a good dose of 6 grams. Beta-alanine, leucine, I have no idea why they put it there, but I have some idea. But whatever, coconut water, tyrosine at 500 milligrams. Come on, no, I wouldn't spend money on this.
It's
And
funny. It's
to
funny
me,
when you're
oh,
like, it's
Robick's favorite ingredient, theanine, with 290 milligrams of caffeine. Yeah, yeah, no thanks.
But this is supposed to be, like I said, I like Dave and I have good relationship with him. But you know what? I can be, I can't lie. When he was so excited about it, that this is the best hardcore or stim product on the market. I understand that people say it, but I would not be able to even think about it when it comes to this product. I, I was blown away, and I have no words.
I think it's just, I respect Dave for the
listen.
business.
I'm not gonna.
Go ahead, Lucas. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I respect Dave as a businessman because again, he was the first person to do like podcasts and all this other stuff. But I feel like this is the first product he's dropped in probably 8-10 years for this line. His line has not moved, so of course he's got to say it's a new and exciting product.
Yeah,
But
but you
Lucas,
know
go
what?
ahead.
You just answered that. If you don't bring anything, because don't forget, initially his products, which came out maybe 12, 14 years ago, they were not bad. They were fully transparent. At the time, they were fully transparent. The taste of protein wasn't good, but the quality was very good. Um, and he brought the macadamia nut oil, which I thought was very, very cool for him to do. And overall, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I would say even good to an extent, and then nothing really happened. A couple of formulas changed for the worse, I believe. And then if your brand is not popular, because let's face it, Species is not very popular brand, at least not today. So if you want to kind of uh bring it back to its glory days, if it's even possible, then I think you should make a statement. This is not a statement. I think this is actually a step back. So I just don't understand the logic behind it.
Lucas, you're gonna say something. Go ahead, brother.
So I'm aware that, yeah, I'm aware that Species got picked up recently by some guy from India, right? So they are right now distributed in India. So that's a win for the brand. Personally, I'm not super familiar with Species just because they are not super popular here in Europe. They don't have a big demand. I know that one retailer in Germany stocks their products, but not all the range. They got few bits and pieces. From what I know, they have Fibrilize and Omegalize probably, and I think that these two SKUs are pretty well formulated, especially the Fibrilize, because
Agreed.
this product just brought Species to a whole nother level, and I think that like many people are praising and this product, which I think it's a really good product uh, for the fiber content and so on. So yeah, props today for it. But it comes down to like pre-workouts. I never, saw Species in this, category personally, and I do think that this product lacks in many areas. Personally, I wouldn't pick it up just because it's something that I'm not interested in, especially with the dosages that I'm always looking for. The simple, example is that, for example, he offers per scoop is like 500 milligrams of L-tyrosine, and I'm taking 4 grams every day. So this just doesn't make sense to me. There's just one thing. Another thing is just this pre-workout for me would be like a perfect energy drink. So something that will replace my energy drink for it, because it has like what, 300 milligrams of caffeine, and it has some, bits and pieces like citrulline, beta alanine. So that's a good stuff, but in general, as we discussed earlier, I would stick with like four, maybe five ingredients, dose them to the max and offer them to the customers, and this would be a much better look, because in this formula he offers, like, as we said, just sprinkles of L-theanine.
Sean, how much
Yeah.
do they want for it? Like, what's the price? And it's
Price
only 20,
Yeah,
49.99
and
US.
it's 20
Yeah.
servings. It's 20 servings
Okay.
for that.
20 servings.
20 servings, yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean,
Mm,
not to completely shit on this parade, but I mean, Apollo Gym Classics used to be stronger than this, and it's 30 servings for $30. I mean, I had to throw it in there because this is funny.
What if so? I'll
there
throw this out
is
there.
there is such a huge spread of pre-workouts right now that it's just like you got so much more to choose from. So if you like, let's say, put 10 pre-workouts on the shelf, and you put the species product on the shelf, I don't think anyone would pick it up.
If they're looking at the label, not this one for sure, and especially if
Yeah.
they're looking for something
Yeah,
strong.
you're looking at the labels only, no branding, nothing like that. You are just looking at the formulas, and you're comparing each product, and you're choosing a product that, let's say, relates to you and to your goals and so on. Let's keep it that way.
Why? So why do you guys think? And I still see this once in a while. Why do people put amino acids in a pre-workout? Does anybody have a reason or thought why they do that? Chris or Lucas, or because I see full BCAAs in some pre-workouts. This one had leucine. Any just for
Yeah,
muscle retention?
I know Dave Palumbo is actually a huge fan of leucine. I think I saw a while back one of his seminars when he used to speak about leucine. Everything revolved around leucine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know Jim Stupani also uses BCAAs in his pre-workout. I called him out on that, and he responded with a study that said added BCAAs to your pre-workout might enhance the effectiveness of the other compounds. But come on, man, it's one study. I don't really see the use for BCAAs in your pre-workout. No, that
Hey, so
would
what
be
about, so
no use.
what if I'm eating a well, balanced meal before my pre-workout, and then I'm drinking a pre-workout? What do I don't get any aminos from my meal? That's just fucking bullshit,
Mm,
man. It
Yeah.
just it's
come
just
on,
a
man.
it's just a fucking filler. That's all. Let's call it as it
Yep,
is. It's just
filler.
it's just a filler. And you're
You know,
paying like what, for, let's say, 10 bucks for fucking leucine in your pre-workout. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'd rather do my EAAs, my BCAAs intra, just to kind of keep me hydrated. My intra.
Yeah,
Um, but guys, we also had a
bro.
couple.
If you are eating let's say, a meal,
Go ahead, Lucas.
I think we have a lack or something. I
Yeah,
think we have a lack or something, because when I'm saying it's like, I don't know.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, what I was trying to say is that if you are eating a meal before your workout, you still have aminos in your bloodstream. So to me, it doesn't make any sense to put extra aminos in your pre-workout. Just like, but, well,
So guys, we had a couple of inquiries. People wanted us to kind of review some of the companies out there. Chris brought up one earlier, Axe and Sledge. Anybody want I have my comments, but I'll defer to either Chris or Lucas or Robick, their thoughts on Axe and Sledge as a brand.
No, I think that the branding is good. I think the marketing is very, very good. I think Seth Ferozzi, I've met him a few times, talked to him. Is a class act, very, very down to earth guy. Really, like in real life, he's he is what he is. Um, I don't think it's a bad brand. I don't think it's a premium brand either. I'm not gonna say that. I think it's an okay brand for what they do. I think because of Seth Ferozzi, and his a hardcore demeanor and kind of like old school guy, you would expect a little bit maybe more premium, more hardcore. But overall, it's not a bad brand. I mean, some of the products are very, very decent. The flavoring is very good. I have to admit, the flavors that I've tried, they were pretty spot on. Um, I, I always compare to myself, and I would have done it a little bit different. But there are different markets, so I think that I would put it maybe not along somewhere around like Ghost, around that area. But I like Ghost a little bit more. I'll be honest. I like Ghost a little bit more. But Accent Sledge, I think, is a fine brand. I don't think there is anything wrong with it. I mean, they do what they do. They open about it. They transparent. Flavors are good. They definitely appeal to the wider market, more mainstream. So I think for what they represent, I think they fine. It's just that I think Seth Ferosi's persona would would make me want to see a little bit more in terms of a little bit more of a hardcore community, but not necessarily either. So my opinion, it's a good brand for what it is. I don't think there is any problem with it.
I disagree with you a little bit. I've tried 3 of their products, 2 of the collabs, and I thought the collabs were terrible. In my opinion, they
No,
had
no, no, no. I totally understand. I'm not going to argue with you. Like, listen, this is not. If I would take the protein, I know they're using. I think I'm gonna say I think they've used either sugar or honey or something like that. A little bit more more sugar than to my liking, but the flavors were good. I think the EA product is decent. I would like the dosages to be a little bit higher, of course, myself, but they decent. They pre-workouts. The names are very cool. I think that one of them is "Don't give a fuck, don't dick around,"
Don't be
some
fat.
shit.
Don't be a
Yeah,
pussy.
yeah, that one. I
Don't
think the
be a
name
pussy.
is very cool, but then when you turn to the label, you like realize, well, I don't know if the name corresponds with what's on the label. I would expect a little bit more. It's kind of like Dave Palumbo says that his product is Stim Max, and then you see 290 milligram of caffeine, and you see theanine. Like, okay, that's definitely not hardcore. That's definitely not Stim Max. So I think they sometimes they kind of give that personality of strong hardcore badass brand, and the X and Sledge obviously represents X and Sledge, which is also kind of badass. So I think they branding and their marketing is phenomenal, and that's the reason why they successful brand as far as I know. But I'm not going to disagree with you. It's not. If I would not have a brand and I would be shopping around, I would probably pick up a product or two for them, but that would not be my go-to for sure.
Chris, what do you use? You mentioned, I think you mentioned used a pre-workout, or did you say use something from Accent Sledge earlier?
I've used hydraulic. They're hydraulic,
Yeah, that's a good
which is
product.
fine. It's fine.
That's a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
product. Yeah, I think maybe even the best product in my opinion. I mean, I'm not familiar with all of them, but that's a good product.
But to go back on Seth himself, you got to give him credit. It's like almost like Apollon to a point where you have your own little not club, not cult, but you got your followers. He's got a very
Yeah,
loyal brand like Apollon does.
and he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lucas, have you tried any Accent Sledge, or what are your
Sean, did
thoughts?
you try it? Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to ask you because you mentioned that you tried.
So I tried. They did an EAA or BCAA with the slushy, the 7-Eleven slushy. It was like a blue something or other, and I
Hmm.
thought it was terrible. They did a protein with Dipping Dots. You know what Dipping Dots is, Lucas? The little ice cream balls.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
they
know.
did a banana one, and I thought it was just terrible. The taste was terrible, and I think they're this is just me,
Okay.
folks, just me. And I think their energy drink just work. I do not like the flavoring. I think it's
Yeah,
too much
I did
carbonation.
not like it either. I agree with you. I did not like it.
Hmm.
Too much. That's just me though. Too much
So
carbonation.
I didn't had any of their products, so it's hard for me to say anything, about. I was never like super appealed about their brand. But one thing that's for sure is that they had an exceptional year, and I have to give them props for sticking to their guns and launching new products like every month. They basically did some cool collabs, which also look good. And yeah, I think they deserve even the nomination for the brand of the year for the stack. I do think they deserve it. Do I think they should won? No, but I definitely think that someone that is like, very consistent with the launches and puts attention to the products needs, this, how can I say, uh, attention and, exposure, or I should say exposure. And yeah, for me, it's like they had a good year, so I give props to them. Then the newest collab, which is called,
Christmas
maybe you
vacation
guys
movie.
can tell me.
The-
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm also, I'm Polish, so I'm not aware of this whole mumbo jumbo USA type of stuff. But yeah, it looks really cool. The labels looks fantastic. So yeah, props to them also for releasing this kind of stuff. But yeah, if you, let's say, if you will compare it to Apollon or other few brands that I have in mind, that's still not enough to win the title of brand of the year in my eyes. So yeah,
Okay.
that's my take on the Accent Sludge. But of course, I always give a props to brand that, cares about its customers. Maybe, of course, maybe their formulas ain't, that hardcore as we wish would have, but at the same time, you know if they have a fans, they have a clients that come back to them, so be it.
Yep. What about MuscleTech? I feel like MuscleTech made a surge and then they died again. That's just me.
Yeah, I think they tried. You know what? I think that they did what, I don't know if I should say it, but it seems to me like they did a Palumbo thing where nothing really happened, and then like boom, well here it is. So I think they did that boom. I think that kind of like, when somebody's, like I said, I don't know about anything about the finances and stuff, but I think they filed for bankruptcy if I'm not mistaken. I think so. I could be wrong, but I think something like that happened. Um, but the thing is that we've seen nothing from them. Obviously, they still had the cash. Obviously, they still have they had the backing. I think from somewhere in terms of finances. I think they tried and they did their best. But the truth is, once you go down, and they went down. Once you go down to go back up, it's not that easy. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's tough. So. Very, very few people came back from a loss. And I think they lost the appeal. They lost, with times they kind of didn't couldn't adapt to the new age. And I think they tried. They gave it the best swing that they could, and nothing happened.
MuscleTech popular in Europe? Either one of you gentlemen?
No, it's rather popular. I mean, people know about MuscleTech. At least over here in Romania, people know about MuscleTech. And I don't necessarily agree with Robick. I think they're doing just fine, at least over here in Europe. And they put out a couple of rather decent products, at least for them. Uh, I don't know, Euphoric looks like half decent. I have no complaints. It has some paraxanthine, it has some nitrates, a decent dose of citrulline, beta-alanine, I believe. I don't know, but I believe I remember looking at it and it looked decent, really, really, really decent for muscle tech. Then they had their peptides, their DL-185, which I haven't used, but I've heard I mean, it's decent as well. Uh, Kind of like Pepti Strong, like more recovery, more strength. Uh, and they also released a creatine peptide.
Okay.
I don't know nothing about that, but again, I've heard here and
Well,
there
they
that it's
making
rather
cheaper
good.
products. They definitely more I would not be surprised if they more in Europe. It's kind of like we have a couple of brands here. Like you will not find much in America. The legacy brands like not ESN. I'm sorry, BSN. You won't find much in terms of universal nutrition, even though or animal. But in Europe, I know that when I travel to Europe, they have a very heavy presence. So, it's hard to judge popularity, but I know for a fact that Muscle Tech here is no longer, a contender for anything in terms of popularity or stuff. So, But if we go to back to their glory days, I mean, they were powerhouse like nobody else.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, but like I said, I know they had some issues. I know they lost a couple of athletes. They still had what's his name? I
I think
forgot.
Blessing is still with them, I think. Blessing?
Yeah,
You
blessing.
think he's with them still?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So they have blessing. Paraxantin. I mean, that ingredient exploded here, and then it died. It's
Yeah.
kind of the same way as I would say, maybe not in the same exactly way. Like Self-Love 6, it exploded, and then it kind of quieted down. Or you had what is that? The one with what the fuck? Citrulline and Bruce
Oh,
Neller's.
3D pump? 3D pump?
Yeah, 3D pump. It
oh yeah.
exploded like crazy and then immediately vanished. So I
I
think that,
personally hated 3D pump. I hated
well,
it.
I criticized it. I actually was supposed to have breakfast this morning with Bruce Naller, and I know he was very upset with me because when we were doing the final scoop, I criticized that ingredient. I criticized that ingredient very heavily because I thought, okay, citrulline works, but the combination that they had was, in my opinion, nothing special. And then I heard also that it clumped pretty badly, which, of course, when you have glycerol, which I hate in pre-workouts because it just clumps. And if you wanted to have at least 6 grams of citrulline, then you automatically would have 4 grams of glycerol. So the product clumped badly, and you can get them separately. So, to make a long story short, yeah, I criticized it too. But initially, every pre-workout, every brand had it in the formulas, and then it disappeared.
Yeah. What about Leica Pro? I don't know if Leica Pro is international or it's just strictly domestic here, owned by Jeff Long.
It's mostly domestic as far as I know. It's operated by Jeff Long. It's I you know what? Jeff and I didn't see eye to eye. He's from New Jersey for a while. I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, there was some serious issue. Overall, I think the brand is good. I think I don't agree necessarily with certain things that he does and how he does them, but the bodybuilding community, he does have some following. um to me personally, if I may, he was writing or still writing on the fact that he has a pre-workout, that is 30 servings, unlike most premium brands that have 20 servings but they like fully loaded and stuff like that. So the 30 servings, I think, I don't know if many people are buying into it. Maybe some bodybuilders do. I just think that I'd rather have a 20 serving pre-workout personally that delivers on all level, because you go to the gym on average, what, 5 6 days a week, and people like to change their pre-workouts too. So the 20 serving pre-workout will most likely be enough for you for a month, but I rather load that to the max and make sure that it performs to the max, and if possible, even at half of those at 40, because a lot of people do 20/40. I want to make sure that my 40 does look better than most 40s out there.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the key for me. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm totally okay, with the brand, because I think that he has some decent products. I think he definitely has some decent products. Not all of them I agree with, not with all ingredients and formulations I agree with either. He built it mostly for the bodybuilding community. Like, yeah, I think so. Among bodybuilders, definitely that there is an appeal on a smaller level. I don't know how he does otherwise, but I don't think it's a bad brand. I think it's a good brand. I think it's a decent brand. I think that it means well, and I think I would classify it as close to premium as possible. My criticism would be on a protein level, because I believe that if you call a brand premium, it automatically has to be transparent on all levels. And his protein is not transparent, meaning it doesn't have the yield amount like not only pollen but also NutriBio has. And even to an extent, I believe, Lucas, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that Ghost protein is fully transparent too. I think
Yes,
they have
fully transparent.
It's fully transparent. So you see, to me, indication of that, because when you see the label and it says 22, 23, 25 grams of protein, but you actually don't get that amount because, if it's an isolate, that's about 10% less. So if you have 25 grams of protein, you're actually getting 22.5 approximately, so to speak. And I
Yep.
think that that's very important to state, especially if you're a premium brand. But again, it's not a big deal because his products are good. So I personally have absolutely no issue with that. I think it's a good brand.
Lucas, this is for you here because I know he's your boy. Cutler Nutrition. Someone wanted some thoughts on Cutler Nutrition.
I'm not super objective because Jay is my boy, so it's hard for me to still to say bad words about him. He's one of the best when it comes down to this industry for sure, and he takes care of everyone. He's a just incredible person, and also he cares about the product that he is launching. The main thing about Jay is that everything he ships by himself. So all the products that he launches pass through him. So everything is accepted by him. So that's something that you need to take into consideration. Of course, the formulas are not super complicated, but that's what I like about Jay because he always tries to not overpriced products, but at the same time offer customers products that are you know good. And I'm not saying they're like super overhyped or anything like that, because this is not the market that he's trying to reach. He's trying to reach out to mainstream and more like a gym rats type of a crowd. That's why he's affiliated with Young LA and other sponsors. So this is why he's taking this route, and uh, it fits him. That's why he's still striving, and the brand is growing. I remember when he was affiliated with MuscleTech, then he went with BPI Sports, and now he's doing everything by himself. So, props to him for staying relevant on the market for so many years and still, expanding his business. I'm in touch with Jay. Basically, we talk every day, and he recently launched his L-carnitine, which is like staple product, L-carnitine. But if it tastes good and people demanding it sells, then it's a good skew for him. So yeah,
You know what, Lucas? I'm going to help you because I know it's very hard to talk about a friend. I've been in that position. But the thing is that honestly, everything that Lucas said is on point because Jay doesn't go around saying that he's the best pre-workout or the best carnitine or the best this or the best that. He doesn't scream that he's premium. He doesn't scream that he's the best. He actually delivers decent product, good tasting product. I've tried his product. The flavors are very good. And he doesn't overhype it, and he pushes everything himself. He works very, very hard. He makes all the appearances. He doesn't make out, if I could say compare it to cars, which I do very often, his product is a good Toyota or a good Nissan, which is a good car, but it doesn't make it sound like it's a Mercedes or a Porsche. And you have to respect that. He sells a good product and he sells it at a competitive price,
for
good
reasonable price.
flavoring.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I
he
want to
doesn't
say.
overhype it. He doesn't sell like
Yes,
not again. I'm gonna criticize Palumbo because he sells a $50 pre-workout that in reality should be probably 30, 35 at the most.
yes.
Um, Jay doesn't do it, so you have to respect it. And the guy works his ass off and very approachable, very, very polite. And even when he trains, he doesn't say that, he's this hardcore badass. He will say that Ronnie trained a lot harder than him.
Yeah.
He had a different approach. And you have to respect it. It's okay not to make a pollen level or NutriBio level products. It's okay. It's 100% fine as long as you not gonna say that a McDonald's is a McDonald's. Nothing is wrong with McDonald's, but as long as you don't say that McDonald's is a gourmet meal, a 5-star Michelin restaurant, then you're okay. just be honest about it. And I don't think that there is any problem with that. So I think Jay has a great brand, actually. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. He doesn't lie, he doesn't overhype. And, like Lucas said, he released the fucking carnitine. It's a carnitine. What is he going to say? That it's the best carnitine on the market? It's not. Is it the shittiest? No, it's just the fucking carnitine. And he sells it, and his followers and his fans are buying it. Good for him.
I can tell
Yeah.
you, he's killing it on TikTok. Every other
Not every
scroll on
brand
TikTok.
will have not
Go ahead, Lucas.
yeah, no, go ahead, Sean.
No, so I was he's on TikTok, and every other influencer is selling his carnitine. He's killing it. But Lucas, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, because I want to say that not every brand will be your cup of tea. That's why Apollon has its own fans, and that's why Jay has its own fans. Some will like his branding, and others will like Apollon. And that's how cookie crumbles, and that's why we have fucking thousands brands on the market. This is why, because we have so many people around the world that they can appreciate different products, and every person has its own opinion. Chris has his own opinion. That's why he puts his own that's why when he makes his reviews, he says what's on his mind. And he's unbiased, and that's why he's successful. What he's doing, and I can appreciate that. But as I mentioned, and also what Robick said, Jay is just a hard worker. He's been in the industry for so many years, and he established himself as a great guy, a great person, and also a great ambassador of the sport. And personally, I would say that he should be the fucking, athletes rep. That's what I'm trying to say as well. He's the perfect candidate for the
Yeah, I
athletes
agree.
rep,
I
because
agree.
he's just all over the place and he knows his stuff like no other.
Yep.
So yeah, of course, I love you, Bob, but Jay is just the best.
Nobody loves Bob. Chris,
You
have you
can you can clip this.
What
You can
happened,
clip
Bob?
this. You can clip this, Sean, and put it out there.
Chris, have you tried any Cutler products? Does Cutler in Romania?
No, no, no. I had one single product that I was tempted to buy. That was Amplify, which is a pretty simple product, just citrulline and I believe arginine nitrate. Simple, nothing flashy, something to add on to your baby high steam, medium steam, but medium pump product. But that's about it. Uh, if it would come at a good price, like I don't know, say under $20, maybe. But if
Yep.
not, it's just not for me.
Okay. And Robert, the last one here, close personal friend of both of ours. I don't know if these gentlemen know, but Jason Arntz of I Prevail.
Pretty much similar to Jay Cutler. Jason is running his own business. He's running his own brand. It's not a flashy brand. It's not best on the market brand. He does his own formulations. I think his own everything. He's a sales rep. He's a marketing guy. He's a pretty much like one man operation. And I think for what he's doing, he's being rather successful. I think. I mean, I don't know how well his brand does, but I know it's definitely in a few stores. And Jason has a great reputation because he's been with Prosops, he's been with Gaspari, I believe. He's been with a bunch of people, and as a sales rep, actually, not just as a sponsored athlete when he was competing. And I have utmost respect for him. And again, you're not gonna hear Jason say things like best on the market. I'm the greatest. I'm hardcore. I'm badass. And his price point, I think, is very fair, very competitive for what he's done. So not just because he's a friend of mine, but I have nothing negative to say because He's very much like Jay Cutler. What you see is what you get, and when a person is like that, he will always have my respect. So I have nothing negative to say about Jason's products. Good brand.
He's a hustler, and I've told him I think he's a hustler. He's
He
always
is a hustler.
moving and
He
shaking.
worked. Listen, I witnessed it firsthand when he worked for ProSubs. We already started a Palm, and I went and delivered the Palm products to one of the retailers. And when I delivered the products, Jason was delivering for ProSups, and it was so funny because he came in. Number one, he was helping the lady, the owner of the store, rearrange her store. He was carrying boxes, and when customers came in to buy products from the store, he was helping them out, and not just selling ProSups, but selling whatever they needed. He would
Yeah.
explain to them the ingredients. He would explain to them the products. He was helping her, and this is the kind of person he is. He was the first one to help me when I came to New Jersey, and when I bought a Pollen gym, it was a dying business, literally a dying business. And he would travel here for 45 minutes to an hour to train at 6 a.m. in the morning. At that time, he was a top 212 competitor, and he would come here just so I would get more publicity, and he would train here with his training partner. So, I mean, of course, you have to respect that level of friendship. And, as for these products, like I said, I think that they're exactly what they are. Very simple, nothing complicated, but honest. And he's a good guy.
Lucas, do you know
This
Jason?
is where you can recognize a true, yeah, this is where you can recognize a true leader, not just
Yeah,
the owner, but a leader. So leader is like a person that's not just like saying what needs to be done, but he's leading by example. He can carry the boxes, he can do whatever the fuck, he can also like clean the toilets and so on.
yeah,
He's all over the place. I love Jason. I messaged him like a few weeks ago, and I was telling him how much I appreciate what he's been doing for the industry nowadays. Not only the look has improved for the I Prevail subs, but also the formulas are also better. He launched an incredible amount of SKUs, and the attention to the products is also cool. He's on social media as well. He's marketing himself, and he's doing this all by himself with his family support. So bro, he's like much respect for this guy, and he's a hard worker. I know he's putting heart and soul into his products. So props to him for doing this. And I'm also super happy to see him on the panel for Apollon every fucking year.
Yeah.
And he's just like a true friend, and I'm sure Robbie can appreciate him so much, and
100%.
I always appreciate what Jason has been doing for the industry. He's also on John's Lydia podcast. They are doing some stuff. Also providing content and sharing knowledge for other generations. So that's something you can't just buy. It's just exceptional work. And I also think that he needs to have like a nod from Shane, or like an honorable mention that I Prevail subs did an incredible job this year as far as the formulations, the products, and so on. So yeah, much respect for Jason for that. So yeah.
So I know it's getting late in Romania, so we'll kind of blitz through the questions here. I don't know. I know it's getting
No
late for
problem.
Chris
No problem.
here. But here's a question for Chris and Lucas: Assassin or Hooligan? You can only use one.
Easy, Hooligan. I haven't used Assassin yet, so Hooligan.
I was the first that was mixing them both together. Robick knows.
I'm not gonna
No,
say
I'll give
anything. It's
an even
Lucas.
better answer. I'll give an even better answer. I'll give a third option, Desperado, my absolute go-to pre-workout.
Well, thank you so much. But yeah, so speaking of Assassin, before the launch, I will definitely make sure that both of you are getting him. Lucas probably has to get two containers because Lucas is Lucas.
That's a
So
2 day supply.
so,
Yeah,
but yeah, no, thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate the kind words, and thank you for your friendship. You're an incredible guy.
For
thank you
Robick
as well.
is double impact returning.
You know what? Actually, Chris, Double Impact was a combination of Assassin and Hooligan. So
Okay.
it was like a hardcore thing, and we would release it like once a year or something like that. But due to so many releases that we had for the past 2 3 years, it was very hard to kind of find a spot for it. So I'll say this: now that Hooligan is here, and we not reformulating it, I think until mid to late 2026, because it's going to be 2 years. and Assassin is just about to come out, I think that
Look
maybe.
at this fucking bad boy,
Oh, there you go. There you go.
and it's
Lucas, it
even and
expired. It
it's
expired long time ago.
and it's and it's even signed. It's even signed by hand by Robick for my mom.
Of course.
This is a this is a fucking legendary shit.
So,
Same same
thank
as
you so much,
same as
Lucas.
this stuff.
Oh shit,
Same
you
as
have.
this stuff.
Thank you. But
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? I think that
I got all them shits. Yeah. Best in
2026, I
business.
think that will bring double impact out, maybe with a little twist. So, Chris, if I decide to do it and I find a spot, care to help me with a formulation?
It would be an honor, honestly.
Let's do it. We'll pick up
Sure.
Lucas's brain too, but Lucas is a fucking crazy fuck,
Yeah,
so
Lucas will
that
push you
that's gonna
above
go
1,000
too far.
milligrams of caffeine. No.
All right, yeah. So maybe it will come back. Yeah, 2026. I'm hoping. Yeah.
Okay. For Robick, which is harder, formulating a new pre-workout or deciding on a new flavor of protein?
For me, neither one is tough because the flavors now I kind of kick to Masha, so she's handling it most of the time, and the girls are trying them. I mean, we obviously talk about it and it's fun trying them, but it's not hard. And formulating, I kind of like, somebody like Chris or somebody like Lucas they already know probably my style because I stick to that style of formulations and I have my own basics. So to me, it's not that hard. I just have to figure out the direction that I'm going, whether it's a non-stem or stem or just to establish that. But just like I said, if it has pump ingredients, there is literally like five pump ingredients that actually work. So how hard is it? It's just and I'm gonna give a little bit of a inside, not inside, but behind the scenes information. Yesterday Chris and I were discussing, if I have nitrates in one product and nitrates in in a different product, that maybe we should explore, nitrates in one and something different in another. So it will come down basically to basic stuff. So I wouldn't say it's challenge. I think I'm having more fun obviously with pre-workouts because as long as you know what kind of protein is we are releasing, then it's just down to flavor. And like I said, we handling it no problem. So either one is not an issue, but more fun is definitely pre-workout. Like something like complicated like double impact, you can't just take the ingredients from Hooligan and ingredients from Assassin and just put them all together. That's not gonna work. So that one is more challenging to modify it properly so it represents both products but at the same time has some kind of a unique, some kind of like maybe an ingredient in either one of them has, then it becomes complicated. That's why, I said that I think that Chris is going to help me with that.
Okay, so maybe this would be a question for Masha then. What's the inspiration for protein flavors? Because you're not standard like chocolate, vanilla. You're always outside the box, sometimes first to market.
So you know what I mean. Since she's not here, I'm gonna answer for her. When she made that French apple tart, we loved it so much. It was so delicious as a dessert that we just basically said, you know what? Why not try to go to the manufacturer and see if we can, match the flavor? And they nailed it because she told them about one secret ingredient, which I'll share with you behind the scenes.
It's love.
Um,
It's love.
it's love. Yeah, let's go with that. So they nailed it. And when we were doing the label, we said, you know what? It's kind of, disrespectful not to feature her name on a label, considering it's based on her pastry. And we were fully aware that she's not an athlete. She's not a well-known personality. At least she wasn't in a supplement world or anything like that. So we kind of took a chance on that, and but it worked. It was our fastest selling collaboration we've ever had. So right now, she obviously, when something works and when you're inspired by something, that obviously fuels you more. You're more motivated to do other things. So she immediately, started looking into different flavors. The only thing that I had to step in is to tell her, like, listen, there are a lot of different beautiful pastries, and you can cook and you can bake. But the thing is that the American public, they very, very difficult. Europeans are more open minded, and Lucas knows that, and Chris knows it. Like, Europeans will go and they will think outside the box, and they will try something that is different. Americans are more strict with their flavors. If they don't know something, they're not gonna buy. They're gonna be very, very, they're gonna be holding on to it. So I just had to tell her that make sure that it's a flavor at least, or a combination of whether it's fruits or something that Americans would accept. And now it works no problem. Like, for example, in UK, when I was there at Arnold Classic, I noticed that a lot of pre-workouts and a lot of aminos featured black currant. Like, it's a very popular fruit in Europe. In America, it's not. That's why you don't see it here, even though it's absolutely delicious, and many people would ask what it is. Or when it comes to, we were very careful with lychee. Thankfully, not the fruit lychee, but the drink, lychee margarita or lychee martini or something. I don't drink alcohol. That's very popular, so that's the reason why we were able to pull it off. But other than that, that's tough.
You guys are sleeping on the Paloma. I finally got a bottle of the Paloma Enigma. That stuff is awesome.
Paloma is good. Paloma is good, and it sells very well. But again, don't forget that Paloma, again, is a very popular cocktail, and you have a large Spanish-speaking community, so that's a little bit easier. That wasn't as dangerous.
So a little bit off pace here. What is everyone's favorite bodybuilder, past or present? And Robick, you mentioned last week you've kind of moved away, but Chris, who is your favorite bodybuilder, past or present? Do you follow the sport?
Yeah, I do follow the sport. I don't know, physique wise, nowadays I like Hadi,
Okay.
but as a personality, I like Nick Walker.
Okay.
That's
Robick,
about
I know you're probably like
I
I am, more of a '90s guy. I mean, who did you kind of tend to or take to, or did you?
No, I did. I mean, in the 90s, 2000s, I was a huge fan of bodybuilding. Right now, I find them a little bit boring, and the physiques are, in my opinion, not as exciting as they used to be. But I would say, if we're talking these days, then I actually agree with Chris. I really like Hadi. I mean, the guy doesn't speak English, so it's very hard to say, um, whether I can relate to him or he's popular. I mean, he just doesn't speak much. But in terms of physique, I'm a conditioning guy, so I'm all about being, ripped and shredded, and I think he represents that very, very well. So I'm a fan of his. From older era, I would still say that my favorite of all time was probably Camel Levroni.
Okay. Lucas, you can say Jay Cutler if you want.
Yeah, I would definitely say Jay for sure from the older days. But Kevin is a great choice, especially, well, his business is also very very good, and he's thriving, in Europe and outside Europe. So that's something, to give him praise about. From era, I've been to Prague this year, so I had a chance to see Samson, Martin, Keon, and I gotta say, Keon is just is just spectacular when it comes down to his physique. Of course, he's still not open, but I'm sure he will be one day, but not right now. He still needs more time, to refine his physique and to be able to gain some more mass and build up slowly. So I think that in maybe upcoming years he will still be into 12, but after that, he still be into 12. Sean
Okay.
Clarida just blew my head off at this year's Olympia. So props to JK because he looked spectacular. And to me, there is a show this week in Japan, and I'm putting my money on Sean. He's gonna beat Hollingshead and other fucks out there.
Oh
So
yeah,
make it
no
count,
problem.
Sean. And the Romania show, the Andrew Jack, he looked just incredible, and I think that next year's Olympia he will be a massive contender. I don't like the physiques of Hadi and Derek. To me, are just too boxy. I don't like their shape, honestly, but it's just me. So all the Iranians and Christians just don't hate me, please. And what else? Nick. Nick to me is a great has a great persona. Of course, not everyone likes his look. I like his freakiness, and personally, I would love to see his mom coaches him. That will be something. I will be the first. So maybe he should reconsider this. Um, and of course, lastly, I would say Martin. Martin is just a hothead, to be honest. But bro, the shape, the conditioning, the completeness that he brought to our Prague Pro show was just spectacular. So yeah, hats off to him for winning the Prague Pro show, and I also think in upcoming years he can be a force to be reckoned with. So yeah.
Okay. And Robick, we both got scolded here when we were reviewing reviewers last week, and we've got David Fredrickson. He
Yeah, I mean, Dave is fucking amazing. I mean, I know he doesn't do many reviews lately, but just to his knowledge when it comes to ingredients and in-depth ingredients, definitely second to none. I mean, he's kind of reminds me of Chris. He's very, very
No way.
detailed. Yeah, no, he does.
No way. No way, man. No way. No way. No way.
He, he,
Dave
he,
makes me look stupid. He makes me feel stupid.
Well,
Like,
he's very detailed.
no,
He's very
no.
detailed, and he does a lot of research. But you have to understand something. The reason why I compare the two of you, because out of all the reviewers right now that you have on the market, there are literally maybe five, and that's going to be a stretch, that actually break down the ingredients, that actually break down the formulations, that actually can do an explanation. And you're definitely one of them. That's a fact. It's just that Dave goes very, very deep into medical knowledge. I mean, he can definitely dissect everything like nobody else, that's for sure. But the main thing is that I would put Dave, Chris, Review Brothers, I'm sorry if Justin Hall, those are the people that do understand supplements. And it's very rare today for, a lot of reviewers are doing what I absolutely hate. They discuss just flavors, which is very subjective because I like one flavor, you like another one. So neither your opinion or my opinion should count. A person has to try whatever works for them. But these guys are talk about flavors so fucking much. They just don't shut up about flavors, but nothing about the products, nothing about the ingredients, nothing about the dosages, nothing about what really, really counts and what makes a difference or the types of protein. They will say, well, this is a whey protein, but is it whey isolate? Is it whey concentrate? Is it whey concentrate 80%? Or is it some shitty 30% whey concentrate that, maybe tastes good with all the fillers and all the shit, but it's actually, on a label it says 25 grams of protein, but in reality you're getting about 34%, which is terrible. So that's the reason Dave is outstanding when it comes to it. He even other ingredients he will break down. So probably he's the best in that space, and kind of reminds me a little bit of Robert Shinetsky, because Robert is a geek who knows those things. Other than that, like I said, Chris, Review Brothers, and maybe one or two more. Like obviously Justin Hall doesn't do reviews, but he knows ingredients. So those are the people that I think are sorely missing in the industry. And you know that's where the consumer could get a lot of benefit from learning from these guys and understanding the products. But Dave is definitely king of of the ingredients, and breaking down each and every one.
I told Dave too. If you've looked at him
Agree.
lately, he's reinvented himself, Rob. If you've seen him lately, he's got nice mood lighting, and it's a total difference than sitting in his box truck. Like you have to look at
Yeah,
his newest stuff.
listen, it works. I'm a strong believer that each and everyone should be doing whatever they want to do.
Yep.
And just on Saturday, for example, I went and I trained a little bit Muay Thai, something that I haven't done in a while now. And a few people obviously commented immediately, and they were like, way to go, way to go. But you always will find that one stupid fuck that will get on your nerves, And I got a message, don't you think you're too old for this? And I'm like, you know what? Number one, it's not funny. Number two, it's a little bit offensive. Number three, I can probably at 50 kick your ass. I mean, and who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I think that it's rude of me to tell people what to do. I think it's rude of me to tell people what to eat, or what products to take. You do you, let me do me. I
Yep.
think that's very, very important to understand.
Mhm.
Chris, were you going to say something about David or no?
No,
Okay.
just that I follow him, I admire him, and that's
Yeah,
about it.
so
He's
he
a really,
decided to
really
do
smart
something
guy.
different. Yeah, he decided to do something different. Good for him as long as it works for him. But yeah, like Chris said, I follow him, I admire him, I think
Yeah,
he's the best.
I look up to him, you
Yeah.
know?
So someone also we forgot TJ from Fitness Deal News, and I know TJ seems to be MIA. I haven't seen him too much lately,
Yeah,
but
I texted him actually again yesterday. He didn't reply to me yet, so I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't think that TJ is as well. No, I don't think it's a fact. TJ is not as knowledgeable when it comes to ingredients as Dave. I mean, it's not even close. But TJ does know ingredients. Like he knows enough. He knows enough basics. Um, I think that his delivery and his entertainment value and how he draws the crowd and his commanding voice is what sets him apart. He gets attention. When TJ was doing a review, you were forced to watch it, no matter what. He was, I would say, pretty honest about his reviews, but he is a little bit closer to maybe Ari because he would mostly discuss the effects of certain products, but he would still touch upon the ingredients and he would read the label as well.
yep,
But again, I think that TJ's main factor was his presence on camera. It was very, very commanding, very in your face, and you were drawn to it. And he has very good education, very good leadership skills. So that worked for him, and definitely something that he's missing because I don't know of anyone who commands the attention as much as TJ with his voice and his presence.
yep. One last one here. We talked about them both independently, but someone wanted your comment on Goated. Obviously, two guys against the Review Brothers, another set of two guys. And I'm sure
Oh,
probably
it's
Chris knows Review Brothers, I'm sure.
yeah. Uh, I don't think it's
Yeah,
even close
I
today.
follow them.
Yeah, I don't think it's even close. Review Brothers definitely are, in my personal opinion, better. They break down each and every ingredient. They both very knowledgeable. Aaron and Craig are extremely knowledgeable when it comes to ingredients. They're doing their research. They also have, they discuss, how much the pre-workout cost. We already talked about it, where they will, measure it on a scale of 1 to 10. Is it expensive or not? But if it's expensive and it's justified, then they will explain why it's so expensive because of the ingredients or, of the formula. They don't pay much attention to the flavoring. They will discuss the flavor and they will say their opinion, but they don't fixate on it. The whole segment takes maybe a couple of seconds. And then they obviously have the effects segment where they try the product and report to the audience as to how they feel, taking the product. So to me, right now, when it comes to video reviews, I still think that today they are the best in terms of the knowledge and the presentation of how they do it or how they do it. I think they just untouchable. And then I gotta mention, of course, GGH because Ari he has his own flavor and he's so good at it and he's constantly evolving and he's also kind of like TJ commanding the space and he's just outstanding. But if we're comparing strictly goated to review brothers, goated will review energy drinks. Review brothers actually review pre-workouts and products, and goated will be, I mean, they probably doing the whole thing. So in terms of like they will do protein bars and energy drinks. Energy drinks, I think to review is absolutely ridiculous because it comes down to just taste. So I don't need your opinion about taste. If something comes out and they're doing a good marketing job, I will grab it myself and I'll decide whether it tastes good or not. I literally don't need you to tell me whether it tastes good for you. And I think that there is a little bit of bias also going on with goated. I mean that's what we mentioned last time. So they good guys, both Sammy and AJ. I mean, they very good guys. I think that the direction where they went is not something to my liking. It's not something that I necessarily see productive, and I don't think the consumer gets as much benefit as they would get from Review Brothers, where they actually review the product, break it down, explain each and every detail, and honestly, rather than watching that, I'll go to Chris, and even though he doesn't do videos, he just does the text. I do the text a lot too. I'll read it and I will understand because he will explain it, and I think that that's the reason why it caught Marina's eye. And to me, I told Chris, to me that was a huge surprise when she actually called me and she goes to me, "Who the hell is this guy?" I was like, "Why?" She goes, "He's brilliant." She goes, "The way he writes."
Oh, thank
She
you.
she said the only one who writes as good is Shane, and she likes Shane's writing. And not to drag this, but between Review Brothers and Goated, my vote goes to Review Brothers.
So, Chris, just remember, it's not what Robick thinks; it's what Marina thinks. That's the more important out of all of this.
Yeah, I think he sucks.
I'm married as well, and I understand that completely. Completely. Yeah, it's what the wife thinks.
Why does wife think? Does your wife
That's
think
important.
Robick is better than Marina?
No, but you know what?
Yeah, I don't know.
When I told Chris about it, he was so grateful and he was so humble about it, and he handled it exactly like I would handle it. Like he was so appreciative of this, and he took his time to show appreciation. And to me, that's a winner.
Yeah, man, that's a big deal for me. I mean, being appreciated for something I wrote and being appreciated by you, by your wife, someone who is in this industry for quite some time, it's a big deal for me, you know?
I think he called you old, Robick.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm no
Um,
spring chicken either.
You know what? I actually I want to be on his good side because his beautiful daughter. That recipe for cookies is so good. I'm trying it this weekend. That girl is adorable, adorable.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Robick, one last one, and I don't know if Chris or Lucas knows of Morphogen nutrition. I know Morphogen's more like underground. I mean, I don't hear much about them anymore.
Yeah, of
I I
course.
I think yeah, I think when they came
I
on
don't
the
agree.
scene, they actually came on the scene way before I did, and I their formulations are good, their products are good. I've tried some of their products; they were decent. I mean, decent. They were good products, and they obviously care about their products as well. They kind of like a smaller company, but. Ben is definitely very, very passionate. I have the honor of having dinner with him and his wife, and he's very, very passionate. He's definitely, I would say that he's that's one of the premium brands, and I don't necessarily agree that he kind of rebranded twice in the last 2 years and kind of was all over the place and then kind of disappeared a little bit and reappeared a little bit. So to me that was a little bit off. I just didn't understand what was going on, but we were talking about strictly about the brand and the products. Shitload of products, good products, well put together formulas. He takes pride in what he does. I personally like Morphogen. I know it's not a big company where you see everywhere, but he has a very good following and he has a lot of respect from people that actually, like the formula. So I don't know, Chris, what do you have?
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. I've never used any of his products. They are not available anywhere in Europe. But I have a couple of guys whose opinion I trust in this industry, and one of them is Justin from the supplement Snoop, and he speaks really highly of Morphogen, and yeah, I believe that he has good products, and I like the formulations. I'm not particularly a fan of the 12 grams of L-tyrosine. I believe that he has 12
Yeah, I didn't
grams of
like that either.
L-tyrosine, but it doesn't do any harm, but it kind of I don't know, draws attention, and I get that. But other than that, he has solid products across the
I
board.
agree.
You're muted.
Sean,
No.
Okay, hear me now?
Yeah.
I don't know what was.
Yeah.
So, Robick, do you want to answer this last question for the day? More Masha videos, or shall I?
What's that?
People are asking, are there more Masha videos coming?
You can answer it.
So, yes, if people want to see more Masha, there's some things going on behind the scenes with Robick, some things, and also some things that Masha and I will be working on, kind of inside the mind of Masha, we'll be calling it. But
And I will only add this. Chris made a suggestion that I'm not gonna say on the podcast what it is, but regarding one product, Chris made a suggestion, and I kind of ran it by Masha, and she agreed. So Chris kind of pushed something that he definitely ignited the fire. But I told her, I said, like, listen, I think he makes a valid point, and she looks at me and she goes to me, "I'll do it."
okay. All right. Well, guys, anything else as we wind down here? I know we've had a long conversation here, but Lucas, Chris, anything else maybe you want to discuss?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. In regards to Apollon and what the brand has been doing nowadays, the marketing has been brilliant. The brand stepped up big time. And I just want to say, I'm not being biased here, and I'm not trying, to scoop some followers from Robick or anything like that.
I'll
But
follow you.
I just wanted to say, that as far as what the team has been brought to the table this year is being noticed, and I do think that they deserve to win the brand of the year for the Stag. They got definitely my vote. So I can definitely say here, that, to me, Apollon won this year, not just because they are releasing good products and also flavor-wise, and they're being consistent, but also from, marketing standpoint. I don't think that Shane is always, rating this kind of stuff, but to me it matters. And I think that, they work as a team. So people like Masha, people like Robick's wife, who came on IG, and she's doing an incredible job with the health stuff and so on. So yeah, mad props to you guys.
Thank you so much. Coming
And
from you means a lot. Thank you, Lucas.
yeah, I gotta say, props, and hope you will guys win. Of course, it's not my my decision here, but yeah, to me, you guys won, and whatever it will be,
You know
we
what?
shall see.
I'm gonna just answer to what you said. Like, I understand, and to me that's a huge compliment, and I do appreciate it. But you know what? The funny thing is that this year we released a lot of products once again, and reformulations and this and that. But to me, this year was about, and Chris and I kind of we mentioned that behind the scenes. It was about innovation and doing something outside the box and doing something different and raising the bar for not just for the industry but for ourselves, which was very, very important. And the marketing was kind of something that we didn't do, and this year I definitely stepped up with marketing, so that is very important to me. But I had fun this year. This is what matters. I really, really had a lot of fun. I kind of relaxed and I just had fun and I enjoyed what I do. And even in the process, of that, I became friends with Chris. To me, that's an accomplishment. There are not many people in the
Man.
industry that I actually like. And for me to meet him, yeah, well, everybody knows that. And a lot of people don't like me, so that's cool too. But, to meet somebody like Chris and become friends with him, and the guy is, he's so passionate about this. He's not from the industry, but he is kind of in the industry. So for me, that's a win-win situation. And Lucas always been helping the brand. I mean, like I said, and I told Sean this, the fact remains that Lucas helped put it upon on the map, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate it, Chris. Thank you for your friendship, and I meant what I said. You'll help me with a formulation.
It will be my pleasure, brother. My pleasure.
Thank you.
And an honor, honestly.
Thanks. Likewise.
So, Lucas, it's always good seeing you, my friend. I know it's late for you. And Chris, it's an honor having you on the podcast. Hopefully, you'll come
course,
back and
man.
join us again. But again, thank
Invite
you,
me,
everybody, for
that'd be
watching.
great.
We are on the same time zone, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. And if you want to see more of these fine fellas, comment below. We want to hear from you. Have a great week.
Thank you, guys.
You too, guys.